Hey, what's up, everybody? It is All Things Fantasy Grounds talk show with me, Rob Toohey, right here. This is FGC, that's Layroon, and this is right here, this beautiful young lady's picture. That is Fury Fate. That's who's here. It is show number 53. It is the first show of 2019. I can't believe I said the word "and" in there. You don't even say 2000. You're supposed to say 2019. Years are pronounced two digit. So 1997, 2019. That's how you do it. It's not 2019. It's 2019. That's how you're supposed to say it.
Well, what
Anyway,
about 2004
no, it's
or like
2004.
2005?
Nope, 2005. That's how you're supposed to say it. If
That's
you
weird.
you
I
you
don't
can
like
even
it.
look it up. People don't do it. And then Arthur C. Clarke, not Arthur C. Clarke, but the guy who directed 2001: A Space Odyssey, Stanley Kubrick, he made it a big deal that you're supposed to say 2001 instead of really what the movie should be pronounced is 2001: A Space Odyssey. But nobody says that. So anyway, that's the thing. Anyway, what's up, everybody? We're gonna get into the show. I'd like to welcome Furied, who you just heard. If you're new, that's her. How you doing, Furied?
I'm doing great. I actually cooked something for once, and I'm enjoying that while we are doing our show.
Excellent. And our other co-host is Leroon. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Just watching the college grow brick by brick and getting excited for the show.
Yes.
Well, first of all, hold on. First of all, how big is the college now?
The college recently hit 4K, and we, since then, which was not very long ago, it is now almost 4,100. So less than a month, or less than a week, actually, 2 weeks, we've got like 100 people.
That's amazing. Awesome.
That is
Yep.
amazing. It is crazy. So before we get too far into the show, we'd like to remind everybody our disclaimer. And the disclaimer for the show is that All Things Fantasy Grounds talk show is meant to teach and help, but the opinions stated in the show by the three of us are not those of Smiteworks USA LLC or Fantasy Grounds. So we are not affiliated with them. We're just huge fans. Here's all the shows we've ever done. And here's today's show, which we're going to talk about 1 year of Fantasy Grounds Fridays tips, which I'm the person that puts those out on Twitter and Facebook, and also on Thursday in FGC itself. If you're, I just recently started doing that. If you're a member there, you'll get it a day early. And then just a little preview. Next week we're going to talk about proper combat etiquette, so that'll be fun. So before we talk about the tips themselves, let me show everybody. Actually, the tip from this last week or week before last was a tip on how to find the tips. So if you are on Twitter, even if you're not on Twitter, I think you can go. You can at least search there. You might need an account, but anyway, on Twitter, if you search hashtag Fantasy Grounds Friday space tip, you got to include the word tip because if you don't, you're gonna also get like the show announcement things and all that. You don't want to see that. And then you can then scroll down and go through all these. There might be some ads in there, but here, like that's the one about the tokens, and you might see them repeated, of course, because I do tweet them 4 or 5 times on Friday. There's the one about the exhaustion and so forth, and so you can just go down and you can look through all those. Same thing on Facebook. If you go to Facebook, you can just search for hashtag Fantasy Grounds Friday tip, and then you can go down through all of those. And those are only posted usually once on Facebook. They are shared to different groups, so they might appear multiple times. But you can go down through and look and uh, you know and read all those and see what they were if you ever want to do that. And you should be able to always do that. You should be able to going forward any ones I ever put on Friday should just get added to the list. So Leyrun had a good idea, which was this is the actual spreadsheet that I use that I write the ideas in, and I kind of make a note about what it's about so that I can go back through and go, oh, did I do anything about Dodge already? Oh, here I did something about Dodge, and that's kind of just for myself. But we thought we'd go through these and sort of just read them out loud for fun. And then if you guys that are watching the show in Twitch have questions or want a clarification on one or something like that, then just let us know. And so that we can kind of cut ourselves off and not get overboard on this, we're going to start at the end and go backwards, and we'll just go until we'll just do about 45 minutes or so of it, and we'll give away a prize in the middle sometime, and then we'll just stop ourselves. And then if you guys have, as always with our show, questions about this or anything about Fantasy Grounds, you can ask us that, and we'll try to get those answered for you. Any questions from my co-host before we get started?
Oh, let's get going, man.
All right. So this last week's tweet was about the background maker, the background theme maker, which is pretty cool. And for those of you that have don't know about what I'm talking about, or haven't seen it, this one actually, most of them don't have a link, but this one has a link, so I'll post it in there. This is a thing that you can just make a background for. So Doug Davison, the owner of and president of Smiteworks, sent me that, and he said, hey, this would make a good tip. And I sent him an email saying, thanks for doing my job for me. And so I sent it out. Week before that was the thing about how to find all the past tips, which I just showed you guys. So let's see now. The week before that was reminding people that you could drag tokens onto the desktop and also into hotkey slots for quick access if you want to do that. And I suppose maybe what I'll do is go and open up the pictures of this and show these pictures. So here's a picture of that. Here's the Rob Tui turtle, a torch, and a ring of fire, and an axe. And so then those yellow lines aren't part of it. That's just the graphic of showing people. But yeah, any of the tokens, you can just drag them on the thing and drop them, and you can also put them in the hotkey. So like one, and there's 96 hotkeys spaces, right? So one you might want to have is like a picture of a shield. And then if you're fighting on the map and your players are there and somebody says, I dropped my shield, you could real quick go down here and grab the shield and throw it on the map, and boom, you're done. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, what was the one before that? In the 5e rule set, placing exhaustion : X, where X is the number between 1 and 6, that will tell Fantasy Grounds to automatically do the things that is for that particular exhaustion. So let's go look at that. So here I put exhaustion 3 on this character, and I rolled a dexterity check and a charisma save, and in both cases he was at disadvantage, that PC, because of exhaustion 3. But you can put exhaustion 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could put 6, but if you have 6, you're dead, so who cares? And it does have to be all capitalized, so just keep that in mind.
Cool.
All right, let's go to the other one before that. This one was about copying hotkeys from campaign to campaign. Yeah, so this is a really cool thing. And this is actually kind of a common question. If you go look at the forums or the FG Discord or anything, people are always asking about this. But if you have hotkeys in your campaign and you want to move them to another campaign, all you have to do is go into your Fantasy Grounds folder and find your user settings hotkeys. So I'll even show you that. Let's go to Fantasy Grounds.
But that's only applicable if you're hosting the campaign. If you're a player joining the campaign, your hotkeys, the way you have them set up on a different campaign and character, will not transfer over.
That's true. Yeah, this is for DM only. So, like, let's say the Battle Royale. Where is that? Here it is. Battle Royale. So in my user settings, whoops. So you go to the campaign, you go to the name of the campaign, so in this case, Battle Royale. Then you go to user settings, and you find this hotkeys _host. You copy that file, and then you go to the other campaign that you want it in. Let's say I want to put that in 5e pickup games. I go there, I go here to user settings, and I drop it right here, which I'm not going to do because I have one already that I like for that. But that's how you can move them from campaign to campaign, which is a really cool thing because if you set up, like, if you have 40 hotkeys that you always have to put in every campaign, you can just switch them by doing that one file. So really, really cool and easy and fun. Well, I don't know if it's fun, but it's easy. And it's cool. All right. Thanks for pointing that out, Fury. That's a good point. This one was about evasion. This one simply states that if you put the word evasion in the combat tracker with a character, Fantasy Grounds will automatically take care of what Evasion does. And so, you see this character here has Evasion, and a fireball was cast on him, or something, lightning breath, and the PC, he rolled a dexterity saving throw. He failed it, but instead of taking all 60 points, he only took 30 because he has Evasion. If he would have passed the save, he would have taken no damage. So it's all automatic. All you have to do is put Evasion and you're done. Pretty cool. Let's see. GM share player. A GM can share any character in the character selection with another player by dragging the PC. Oh yeah, so let me show you that in Fantasy Grounds. So up here is where, in the upper left, of course, would be the tokens of the players that you have connected. So if you have this player, you could say, for example, just grab it and drag it and drop it on the token of the player that you want to share it with. And since I don't have it there, it's not going to work, but it will pop up that character to them. So you can, and this is probably a rare thing that you would need to do, but if you do need to show a player some other player's sheet, like maybe there's a discussion, the DM's like, oh, I forget how to do that one thing. Here, let me show you the sheet, and you can share it with a player so they can see it. So that's a potentially very useful thing to be able to do. PC search. Within the character selection, all PCs are now listed alphabetically, and there's a search bar. So this is a new thing in Fantasy Grounds, the last update. So this bar didn't used to be here. And in my 5e pickups games, there is I think 160 or something like that PCs in that. So this, if I do that, this whole thing would be filled. And the cool thing is they're listed alphabetically, and then also if you just want to search for, give me the druid, you can do that, and it'll narrow the search down just like any other search in Fantasy Grounds. So that should have been a long time ago, and they finally did it, and I'm super happy.
Cheerbits in the stream. Thanks
Fantasy
for the
Grounds College, Cheerbits 136. And so yeah, that's a good helpful thing that you can have, especially if you have games like I do where there's 100 or 200, like the 261 pre-gens that I did. Imagine trying to search through all those. It was crazy. Yeah, but they are numbered, so that's good too. Magic resistance. This is a really important and cool one. Let's go see if the picture for that. If you have magic resistance, where the hell? Oh, is that a 2018? Is that why? Maybe. Let's go back to pictures, Fantasy Grounds Friday, into the 2018. Here we go. That must be why. Damn it.
That's the last one, I think.
Oh yeah, I wasn't showing the pictures for them. I was just describing. Okay, so if you have magic resistance as an effect in the combat tracker on a PC, and even this works on NPCs as well. Usually the NPCs already have it coded in, but if they don't for some reason, you can just add it. So you see here that he had advantage on his save against the power word that the NPC was doing. And if you didn't have magic resistance there, then he would not have had advantage on the save. So all you have to do is put it in the combat tracker, and it's there, and it works, and it's just super cool. It's all automated. That's Fantasy Grounds. It just continues to blow me away. And I've been using it for 3+ years, and I still learn stuff, and it's just amazing. Are we missing it? You're watching the chat, I'm assuming, you guys. I haven't seen anything in there.
Yeah, we're watching.
Yep, okay. We're watching.
All right. The next one before that was the test version. Oh, yeah. So if you guys are interested, you can actually, anytime you like, you can update your Fantasy Grounds to what's called the test version, and it will allow you to experience the the next version that they're putting out with all. Now, just to be clear, when I say next version, I'm not talking about Unity. I'm just talking about the next instance of Fantasy Grounds when they make an update. So what you would do is go to your settings here in the, click that. It's going to open this box. You're going to see that live is checked. So what you do is you just click test instead. Now you can click dev, which is development version. I highly recommend against that. You can do it if you want, because you can look around in there and see what's up, but that usually has crap that doesn't work right or isn't fully tested. But the test version is actually meant for us users to go there and look at the new things and see if you want to use those things or how they work. And then if you see a mistake or if you see something that doesn't work right, you can just email Fantasy Grounds and say, hey, I went to the test version and I saw this and it seemed that it didn't work right for me, blah, blah, whatever you want to say. So that's cool. Now, to get out of that, obviously you just go open your settings again, click back to live, and click OK and say update. Now, when you do this, it will make a full update like you see where it puts that thing on the screen and it just lists every module you have and it goes through and it updates everything. So that's going to happen. And then the other thing to say about that is it is highly suggested that you do not do this just prior to playing a game. Now, if you're going from test back to live, you can do that, but don't go into test version and then play your campaign on Friday night or whatever you're doing, because something's gonna get screwed up and you don't want to see that. But that's a cool thing that most people don't know you can do, so that's fun. Avoidance is much the same as Evasion, but it works differently. Avoidance just allows you get half damage on a save and no damage on a success or half damage on a failed save. Leroon or Fury, do you want to... I'm doing a terrible job. Do either one of you want to explain exactly what the difference is between Avoidance and Evasion? If not, we can look it up.
I forget, to be honest. I've never used it.
So
Same here. I've never used it either.
Okay.
So we're going to get educated today.
So let's actually do that. Just for everybody's edification. Let's go look up both. So D&D Beyond, and Rob Tui. Avoidance. They're very similar, which is why Avoidance. Avoid. Did I spell it right? Avoidance. That's right. Interesting. It's not. Avoidance, actually. Avoidance might not be a PC thing. Is it not a PC thing?
I don't think so.
Because I've never seen it. I mean, I've seen...
Yeah, Evasion. You know what? I think... Yeah, okay, so let's find out. Avoidance. Subject to an effect that allows it to make a saving throw, it only takes half damage. So, the difference is... Avoidance is a more powerful version of Evasion. Evasion is just for dexterity throws, whereas Avoidance is for every kind of saving throw. I think that's the difference. Now, if anybody that's watching the show thinks that that's not correct, please tell us. But I believe that is what it is. And the reason that monsters have Avoidance is, of course, they can save from anything, and then I think rogues have the other one, which is just dexterity throws. So unless somebody changes that view, that's what we're going with. And if you look up, if you look up Evasion, that will show up. Yeah, Evasion. Oh, Christ! You click a button and the computer just does what you want it. What you tell it to do. So 7th level rogue, Evasion, and that says your instinctive dodge out of the way. When you are subject to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw, take only half damage. You instead take no damage if you succeed on the saving throw and only half if you fail. So, again, Evasion is dex only, and Avoidance is all saving throws, and that usually applies to monsters only, not player characters.
Okay.
So there you go.
Cool.
But you could, if the Rob Tui critical fumble table tells you get Avoidance, then you can put it on there and it'll work. That's the point of knowing that. It might, homebrew, you might have somebody that has Avoidance, whatever happens. All right. So let's go back to tips right here. Let's see. Roll checks and saves from the combat tracker. To roll a 5e ability check from the combat tracker, click on the fist icon and then double click the attribute. Well, let's just see that. Click on the fist icon and then roll the attribute. Well, whatever. Look at that. There you go. So you can do that on PCs as well. You can click on the fist icon. There you will see the PC's attributes. I want to make a wisdom check. Boom. There it is. If you hold shift and click it, it is not a check, but a save. So there you go. That's cool stuff. Level up best practice.
Cheerbits. Cheerbits in the stream. Thanks for the cheerbits.
What's up, Gwydion? Cheerbit, Bitboss, Gwydion, cheerbits. So the oh, and you know what? Hold on, I forgot. Oh my god, I totally just blew this. Logo FGC and Bitboss I need to put on there. Where is the Bitboss? I don't see it. Oh, there it is right here. Okay, so Gwydion, unfortunately, I did learn that if the Bitboss is not visible on the screen, it doesn't work, which is kind of stupid. But yeah, so McClancy's still the Bitboss. Yeah, so we talk about this a lot. So if you're leveling your character, now here's a second level druid. So if I was going to multi-class, I would obviously go to the classes on the side.
I love you, man.
Yeah, Drake Takes has a subscribed. And, there'd be classes in here from whatever source I have, and I would drag it over, and I would level it up. But if you're not multi-classing...
I love you, man.
Yeah, Matakuri, what's up? Fantasy Grounds College, bing, bang, boom. Everybody's cheerbittins and everything. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. You open the class and level...
Cheerbits in the stream. Thanks for the cheerbits.
And what do you do, Leroon? How do you level up?
You will drag that little token, the one on the far right, looks like a shield. You'll just pick it up, left click and hold it, and just drag it right back into the same box, and it'll level you up.
Boom, like that.
Yep.
Unable to find record. Yeah, because I don't have the player's handbook open. So, which if I did this and I opened the player's handbook, then when I level up, it would do it. So the reason that is a best practice, as opposed to coming over to classes, finding druid and dragging it in that way, is because you may have multiple sources. You might have Xanathar's Guide open, or you might have Sword Coast Adventures Guide open, or you might have some other player aid book that has classes in it, and you might drag the wrong one. So 80% of people probably know the difference and would do it correctly. But this way, you don't even have to think about it. You're on your character. It's time for you to level up. You go, hey, I'm a druid third. I'm a third level druid. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to grab that, drag it, and drop it. And now I'm a fourth level druid. Boom, done. It's easy. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. It's over.
And I had a comment about that.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
If you use Sword Coast Adventures Guide, at least in the past, if you try to level up with that book instead of the player's handbook, or you mix and match, it does something to the list that you get from your background for that class.
Yeah.
So, or not the background, but the starting levels. So you don't have the links available to you.
Right. And so it is something, if you mix sources from the same class, it will jack your character sheet. So that's why we say this is a best practice to do it this way. If you're leveling up, you're obviously going to go get the other class, and I'm going to be a Druid Ranger, but that's not going to mix because they're different classes. So it's going to be fine. But in the future, if I'm multi-class, if I'm Druid and Ranger, and now I'm going to level up, I go here, I open this, I say, all right, I've leveled up, I'm going to pick another class of Ranger. I grab the Ranger, bring it down, drop it, boom. There you go. Done. Easy, quick. Don't even have to open up this other crap. Very good. Whisper. You can send a private whisper to the GM or to another character name. And some people actually don't know this. And how that works is down here in the chat. If you have players connected or the GM, you just put /W space, and if you're whispering the GM, you actually do just put GM and then space and then hi, I love you. This is what you should tell all of your GMs, is that you love them. And then and then the GM will see this in the chat, but no one else will. And then another way that you can do it is you can go /W and the player's name. So, let's just say that the player I'm typing to is called Fury Fate. And then you can say, hi, I love you, to everybody. You just tell everybody that. Now, the third thing about that that's not explained in the tip, but that's just a little bonus from you to me right now, is that if somebody whispers you do not have to type out the whisper and their name to reply to them. All you have to do is put /R and then your message. Thank you for loving me. And then hit that, and it will send it to them. And it's telling me not available because there is no other players, just me. And then just as a bonus reminder, if you hit /? in the chat in Fantasy Grounds, of course it brings up all of the things that you can do. And so whisper is one of them, W for short. Reply is one of them, R for short. So there you go. That's how that works. All right. A couple more, and then we'll give away a prize. So let's see. What was this one? Oh, set default scale in UI and settings. Right.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
To the whisper. Diablo Bob was saying that if you type it in the chat and then you just drag the text to that player's portrait, that's usually there on the top.
Oh, left. Yes. Yes, that's true. Never mind. I don't love you. Or whatever. Yeah, then you can grab this text and you can drag it all around, and if you drop it onto the token up here on the left of one of the players, then that will also do the same thing as whispering them. Yeah, that's a very good point. Excellent. Diablo Bob to the rescue. Critical Glass of Essentials. Everyone buy it. One click through it. Okay. Oh, scaling the UI. So you can scale the UI from 50 to 100. Now, this can be done in the settings on the splash page when you first open Fantasy Grounds, but you can also do it here. /scale UI and then space and a number between 50 and 100. So I'm gonna type 100, which is the regular. I'm gonna highlight that, and I'm gonna copy it into the clipboard memory, Control C. And the reason I'm doing that is because I am experienced. And I'm going to change it to 50, and we might get jacked. So there's 50. So the lower the number, the more you can see on the screen. So obviously this is like crazy. Like you can put a lot. I mean, imagine all the stuff you can put. There's the combat tracker. I mean, you can you could open some maps and pictures and whatever, and just you could layer your whole screen with everything. And you could do that. So the opposite of that, Fantasy Grounds College Cheerbits, the opposite of that would be to scale UI at 200. This is where we're going to get jacked. Yeah, so now I've screwed myself. Shit is so big, I can't even see the bottom of the chat. I can't, I can this all the buttons on the side are like this, and everything still works, and if you're old like me, you'd really appreciate like, oh, look how big the letters are. But it doesn't need to be that crazy of 200. Now, if you have a monitor that supports a resolution that's like, 2160 by, what would it be, 1840 or whatever, like a huge monitor that could support it, you can do it. Now, you can see that I've done this before and that I got screwed, and that's why, since I can't see the bottom of the chat or type in it, but I can put Control V and then get back to here, because I've done that a few times. So that's still a pretty cool thing to know. And then normally, like, I will use 100 to play, and maybe I've been using 100 to DM as well, because I've just gotten so good at screen real estate. But I used to go /scale UI 80 for DMing to just give you slightly more room on the screen. It makes things a little smaller, and that helps if you have the 14-point font extension. And then again, with my eyes and whatnot, just super old. Now I'm gonna go back to the original so that I don't forget. Yeah, one thing that does though too is it kind of dislodges your Fantasy Grounds window. If you're in Windows, it kind of just dislodges it, so you have to kind of go back and re-maximize it. That's what you see me do a couple times. All right, dragging text from chat to notes. So same concept. If you're typing here, this is my note, and you go to a notes field. Actually, this will work in any type of story type field like this. You can left click, hold, and drag, and then just drop it in there. So you can do that, and you see that it took it out of the chat. Same principle applies. You can copy something. Oh no, you can't do that. You can't go in reverse. You can Control C and Control V though, but so that's the same thing. You can type something here, and you can pick it up and drag it and drop it here, or whisper it to someone up there. It works the same way. So very good. All right, now first thing we're gonna do is erase.
And on that note, we should give away a prize.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Let's do it. Yep. So today's prize, in honor of this being our first show in 2019, back in full force. We did 52 shows last year. And I calculate that if we do one a week this year, by the end of the year we should be nearing 100 shows, and we might not quite get there even if we did one every single week without a missing one. Our 100th show would be January 5th. So we're probably not going to get to 100 in 2019, and then of course chances are we'll miss a week or two for something always happens, right? So, but yeah, we're flying along. So in honor of the first show of 2019, what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna have I'm gonna do a raffle right now, and there will be one winner, and that winner can take anything they like from the DM's Guild with my name on it, including packages. So if you win, you could get, for example, the 2016 through 18 package, which costs like $89.95, whatever you want to get, and it can also be any of the other things that I've done with other authors. If you want Critically Awesome Essentials, the one-click Druid thing, you can get that, whatever you want to get. So let's do it. DM's Guild, Rob, TUI item. So it's going to be a keyword raffle, which I'm so out of practice, you guys. We haven't done this for a while. So let's maybe do that. And the keyword in this case is going to be 2019. So let's do it. So in the chat, you'll want to put exclamation 2019, and I'll start a 2-minute timer. And I see that people are putting that in there. So when the 2-minute timer runs out, I will click the button. We will get ourselves a winner, and you will win. And as always, remember that if you win, that prize is yours. There's no forwarding or giving it to your friend or whatever the hell it is. If you win, it's yours. Also, anybody that's watching this show on YouTube after the fact and going, oh man, prizes? Well, you gotta be here Sunday nights at 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock p.m. You gotta show up for the show, and you always win. And I don't think there's been a Sunday night show where we haven't given away at least one prizes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, and in some cases, I remember, when was that? May 27th of last year, we gave away $1,000 worth of stuff in one show. It was insane.
That was cool.
That was cool. And we'll
I got
probably do
another
that again.
prize.
Oh, what's your prize?
Okay, not for the show, but this is the plug I was telling you about.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, this is for the college, FTC, or FG College. What we're doing is we're trying to get our members and new members to sign up on our web, and we call it the registration rush. And what we're doing is we're giving away one copy of the Ultimate license and one copy of the Standard license. And all you have to do is register on the website and make sure you use your Discord nickname on the website as well, because there's a field for it when you register. So if you're already registered, go back and double check it. And anyhow, what's going to happen is from those names, we're going to choose and have a raffle. And that prize cutoff time is tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, February 11th. So again, that's fantasygroundscollege.net. I'll put it in the chat
I
there.
just put it in the chat.
Thank you. And that's what we're doing for that.
Yeah, so go there, guys. Click on that link. If you're already signed up, make sure your sign-up name is the same as your Discord name. And if you're not signed up, sign up and make sure your name is your screen name is your Discord name. And there you go. That's all you have to do. All right, very good. Let's see who our winner is. Draw a winner. This is my favorite part. Boom. Right. Oh, nice. It's a new person. Let's see. How do we say this? Eric. Hi, yeah. Eric Heil Hitler. Himmler. Eric, how do you say that? That's probably all wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I just made the guy a Nazi. He was the one that was in the chat now just saying that 200 critical fumbles looks fine, I think. Or was that somebody else? Yeah, that was him.
Yep.
So good. Congrats. Second order of business is you are not a follower. Boo. Hit that follow button, buddy. You don't have to be a follower to win, but you should follow the channel. I mean, come on. Let's just get it together. So here's what you need to do. Since you're new, you probably don't know this, so I'm going to type in the chat. This link will take you to my Discord channel. So, Eric, what you should do is click on that link, get over to my Discord, and send me a private message. And what you would need to do is send me a private message with your DMs Guild email and the prize that you would like to have. Thanks for the follow, buddy. Yeah, you did it. If I click this, does it? Yeah, it does. It refreshes it. That's nice. I like it. So send me your DMs Guild email. If you've never gone to the DMs Guild, just go over there and sign up because it's free to sign up and get your DMs. Tell me the email that you use. So yeah, so send me a personal message and then the item that you want. And if you don't know what my items are, just search my name. And I'll put that in the chat as well. So you'd want to go to DMs Guild and search that exact spelling of my name, and then anything that you see on that list, you can tell me, and you get it for free. And that's it. And that's how we do it. Give away shit like that. All right, very good. Let's go back to the things. So, adjusting action tab groups by clicking on the magnifying glass on the spells bar of your actions tab. You can adjust all spell attacks or save DCs. Let's get the picture of that. Here it is. All right, so if you're on your actions tab and you have some spells listed, you can click on these things and open up the spell bar, which looks like this. And then you can alter any of this stuff in here. If all of your spells key off your wisdom or your charisma, you can change it in this box. If all your spell attacks have a bonus of +2, you can add that here like this. You can click your proficiency on and off. You can click what ability either the attacks or saves use. And if you are playing a class where you have a certain amount of spells prepared, you can put that in this box here, and then when you go and use all your spells, when you change down here in the bottom left, there's standard, there's combat, and there's preparation. So that all affects everything in the list. So it's a really cool way of sort of better keeping track of your spells. And I kind of went overboard with the explanation there, because the tip itself is only talking about you can adjust all your spell attacks or save DCs by putting in numbers here. You might get a feat that says, hey, all your attacks have 2 extra damage, or whatever. So or 2 extra attack, I mean, not damage. So that's how that works. All right. Sharing pins. Yeah. So some people don't know this too. This is really cool. If you're DMing, and this will work in any rule set, if there's a pin on a map or picture, it's always red. You can hold shift and click that pin, and it will turn green, and that means it will appear on all the players' maps, and they can then click on it and read whatever's in there. So normally you wouldn't want to do this because you wouldn't want players to see DM information, but a good way to use this is if players have a quest, or if they go somewhere and they find out, they meet an NPC, or they find out certain information, you can either, as a DM, reveal that or create it for them. Maybe a quest is a thing and you want to show that to them, so you can just change the pin green and leave it there, and then the players can always refer to it on the map. So that's a really cool thing. I love it. Love it. This one is about turning off effects in the combat tracker. You can set effects in the combat tracker to be on, skip, or off. Using the skip one, we'll use one use of that effect line. Okay, so let's look at that. Right. Whoops. So here, I could just switch the pictures that way. It's easier. So this one is on, which means every time it comes to this turn, this effect will apply. This one is skip, which means when the turn gets to this, monster, it will skip this effect once, and then when it goes to the next turn, it will turn it back on. And then of course off means it's like it's not there. And so you might have different reasons for doing this. Say for example, the adult Oblex 3 is not immune to its normal immunities for the next turn. You could just push skip and be done with it. So that's a cool thing to be able to use in many different ways. NPC Chat. By clicking the chat bubble next to the token on any NPC block, you can set the chat speaker role. Yeah, so if you're the DM and you have here the Clawfoot Raptor, all you have to do is click this little speech bubble right here next to the token, and that will change. You'll see GM down here, that's you, and then it'll add Clawfoot Raptor and switch to that. And so anything you say in the chat will be said as the Clawfoot Raptor. And then if you want to go back to GM, you can just click on GM and go back, and then go back and forth. And I think any monster that you have open that you've clicked this thing, that monster name will appear here. So there might be 3 or 4 or 5 of them strung out there, and you can talk as all those different ones. And of course, not listed in the tip, but part of that would be here in this box. You could click on that and show the languages. And so if it was like an orc boss, you could say, I'm the orc boss, and I'm going to speak in orc and do that. So lots of role play heavy stuff there if you need it. Super cool. Oh, lighting hex code. Yes. So you can change the lighting. There's lots of things you can do in Fantasy Grounds. Let's go to Fantasy Grounds for a second. So this lighting thing here, this can be used, you can change it to the night. You can change it to the campfire. You can also change it to the forest. Those are the presets. And then you can go just back to regular daytime. Now also, there is an extension called Mood Lighting that has many different presets in it. But you can also use hex codes. So if you know a particular color, you can go /lighting, space, and then the hex code. Now, I believe this regular setting is all zeros. No, it's not. As a matter of fact, that might be black. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So lighting. Fury Fate. Give me a 6-digit hex code.
FF0145.
Okay, so this is FF0145. It's equal parts hideous and cool. I love it. And then you can change your background to basically any hex code. So if you want to make, you want to do fire red or, Rob Tui purple, whatever the hell it is, you can do whatever you want as long as you know the hex code. And then when you're done, if you don't know the hex code to get back, you can just go right up here and go back to the regular Fantasy Grounds. Super cool. Love it.
For the mat, it looks nice, but for that chat box, it's like burning my eyes.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's see, lighting.
I regret it so bad.
FFF. That might be, yeah, FFF is the regular, which is nothing. I think that's white. So 0000 must be black, and then FFFF is white. And as long as you don't put either one of those on your face and run for governor in Virginia, you're fine. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Oh, the roll on. Yes. If you know the name of the table you would like to roll on, you can do it from the chat. So this is pretty cool. So let's get the name of a table here. What is this? I like it. It's a table with the name of extensions. I have no idea why that's in there, but it's cool. So you can go to the chat here. You can say /roll on, all one word, and then the name of the table, which was extensions. I forget why we made that. You can type that, and you can roll on it. I got a 2, and it's message of the day. Let's just do another one. Guild Artisan Personality. Let's do that one. So, roll on Guild Artisan. You do have to type it out. Personality trait. And you do have to spell it right. So, let's see if I did. Yes, I did. So, it rolls, and it gave me a 4. I'm full of witty affirmations. And so, number 4 is I'm full of, yep, it worked. So, there you go. That's cool. That's how you do it.
Cool.
Next, what are we looking at? Okay, we'll do a couple more. Change the chat number. If you right-click on the number in chat from an attack, damage, etc., a radio menu will pop up where you can double or half the damage right in chat. You can also make the result in negative if needed. Okay, so let's test that. So let's go here to the combat tracker. Here, first of all, let's clear it. Let's just get an attack. And did it say attack or damage? Oh, anything. Okay. Maybe it helps if we look at the picture of that real quick. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so yeah, it's any number. So let's just roll an attack here for something. Here we go. Attack. Right there. Boom. Okay, now, if I right-click on that number, I can copy it. I can I can change it to a negative value. I can double it. I can half it. So let's double it. Look at that. It was a 6. Now it's a 12. Let's make it a negative. Now it's a -6. Let's half it. It should be 3. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is.
So here's where you would use that, guys. You roll damage. Okay, my monster's attacking you, and he's gonna do this 2d8 thunder to you. Boom. And then the player goes, oh wait, I had a thing where I should only take half damage. No problem. Go over there. You well, first of all, what you do is you would hold shift and drag that, take away the damage, and then you would hold shift, make it half, and then reapply the damage by dragging it. So ways to not do math. For me, if I was DMing, I would have just gone to the combat tracker and adjusted it by 5, because I've already done it in my head. I'm already finished. But there's a lot of people out there that are not math savvy, or they melt down when they think they have to do math. So this is a total way to sort of automate doing it. You don't have to think about it. Yeah, you can either do negative, half, or double, or whatever you need. So there you go.
Nice.
A lot of this stuff, people, they're like, what? I didn't know that was even in there. Map align tool, we're gonna skip that. If you want to know about the map align tool, go and look it up on the Fantasy Grounds forums. It's pretty involved. It's a lot of work to use it, but it is cool. So if you wanna know about that, just go to Google, type in Fantasy Grounds map align tool, and it should take you to that forum entry. What that's used for is if you have a map and you go to put a grid on it and it doesn't line up right, and it's just no matter what size you pick, 50 pixels, 49 pixels, 51 pixels, it just doesn't work, you can go and use this tool to make the maps line up right. All right, one more. Reroll tool. Yeah, let's go look at the picture of this. Okay, so a lot of people send me emails and they say, hey Rob, I love your codings, but you forgot great weapon fighting. No, I didn't. You don't code that on the actions tab, you code that in the weapon itself. So what you would do is you would go to your weapons bar, click on the magnifying glass, which will open this box, and then right here in the properties, whatever it says here, it might say versatile, it might say two-handed, it might say whatever it says, you put a comma and then the word reroll and then the number it's going to reroll. So it might be reroll 1, it might be reroll 3. Most of them will be reroll 2. That's what great weapon fighting is. And then you close that up, and that's how that's done. And here's an example of where you roll a dice. If it's a 1 or 2, which in this case it was a 1, it re-rolled it to a 7. So that's how that works. Yeah, pretty cool. And it's all pretty much explained right there. So I think that's where we'll stop. But I would like to take some time if people have questions or anything, they should put that in the chat. Let us know. We'll answer those for them. And again, guys and gals, it does not have to be about these tips. It can be a question about anything Fantasy Grounds. Every Sunday night we get together and we want people to understand that I mean, you can always come to the Fantasy Grounds College Discord or the Fantasy Grounds Discord itself or the forums and ask your questions. But we want people to know and understand that if you come here on Sunday night and have a question, not only will we try to answer it, but we'll show you. We'll go in Fantasy Grounds and do it. So here comes a question right now, I think, by Drake. The other thing I want to mention is that if you guys have ideas for Fantasy Grounds Fridays tips, always I'm totally open to that, and it's part of my job for Smiteworks that I do is to come up with these. And so if you're playing in your game and your DM has a tip, or you're the DM, or your player says, hey, did you know you could do this, and you're like, oh my god, I don't think anybody knows about this, or if it's just really cool, just PM me in Discord or send me an email or whatever it is you have to do, and let me know, and then I'll make sure everybody knows, because I'll disseminate it to the entire world. So let's see, what's Drake's question? Can you show, where'd that go? Can you show how to move multiple tokens at the same time on a map? Oh, that's a good question. Yes. Okay. So let's go and get let's just go to the combat tracker and put the other guy in there too. Guy in here too. Okay, so there's 3 people. Okay. So let's get a map. Battle map outdoor, that's good enough. Make sure it has a grid, because I don't think it does. Oh, it did. Damn it, I just erased it. Fuck. Put it back. Fantasy Grounds modules, they line up. Okay. So his question is how to move multiple tokens. There's 2 ways you can do it, or 2 good ways that I know of. Let's just say that you had your parties fighting the monster and whatever happens. So there's 2 of us and a big bad monster here. So if you wanted to move particular tokens to another part of the map, I can't think of what the reason would be here, but let's just say that you want to move all these tokens. You can click this selection mode, and then you can draw a square around everything. And once you do that, it's going to have them, and then you can move them all like that. Now, another thing that I use a lot is when parties go to a different map, there can only be one instance of the combat trackers on the map. So if I take this green helmet from the combat tracker right here, which is just the friendlies, and I drag it over the map, it's going to diagonally stack them top left to bottom right wherever I drop this. So you're going to see these 2 tokens right here move up to where my mouse is now. Boom, like that. So that's a quick way to reset tokens, but it will always put them in a line like that. And again, there's only one monster, but if you had 16 monsters, you could drag that over and it would do the same thing. It would make a line like that. We don't care about that. So hopefully that answers Drake's question. That's a good question.
I got one question, Rob.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we show people how to use the modifier box on the bottom left corner?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a tip or not. I think it was, but I don't remember.
I don't remember, but that's a good one too. Okay. So let's say you're in my game, and you're shooting a ranged weapon, and someone is behind a bale of hay or slightly hidden by part of a corner of a wall or something, and they are not a sharpshooter, and so I say, your shot has partial cover, therefore your shot will be at a -2. Well, that player can say, okay, I'm going to shoot my... There's no weapons on here. All right, let's just say that the beak is a crossbow here. Let's just say that. So I say, go ahead and shoot your beak at a -2. So you can go right down here to the bottom left where they have some modifiers. Advantage, disadvantage, +2, -2, +5, -5. So I'm going to mark -2, and then I'm going to take my shot. So I rolled a 19 +4 -2, which makes it a +2 instead of a +4, and it tells you the -2 was there, and then it's a 21. So now another way you can use that is the actual box to the left that says modifier in it. You can put a number, you can click on that, and you can put a negative or positive number in there. So let's say, who knows what the reason is for this, but let's say -6 is going to be what I'm going to use. So basically when I roll this attack, it's going to say whatever the number on the dice is, and then right here next to it, what is it going to say, Leron? If it's a +4 -6, what's it going to say here?
-4.
+4 -6.
Oh, +4 -6. It'll be -2. Excuse me.
Right. And this is a good example of why you don't have to do the math. It just does it. So here we go. So I rolled a 16 -2, and I got a 14. So there you go. And it tells you right here, -6. And then it takes it away. So these are only a one-time thing. Advantage and disadvantage, you can use the same thing. You click disadvantage and you roll it. It obviously gives you the 2 dice. Disadvantage will always be red. Advantage will always be green. So there you go.
I just thought of a good use for that. Bardic Inspiration would be a good use for the modifier.
Bardic Inspiration gives you what? I forget.
It gives you an extra D6 to apply to whatever you want. Basically.
Oh, right.
Well,
so actually, no, that would not
No?
be a good use of it, because these are numbers only, not dice. Although I've never tried this. Just a second.
So a D6, I think.
Oh my God, does that work? Hold on a second. Wait a minute. No, it didn't work.
No.
You would think that would work.
Yeah, no.
Why can't you drag that in there? It put a little symbol in there. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
But it...
But what I was saying is if you roll a d6 just out in the open, and you can put the modifier in there manually.
Oh, yeah, you could.
Jake
But
is
of course-
asking with the little circles below the modifier, the little circles there, the little modifiers, what those are for. I
Yeah.
guess for whatever dice you add.
No, it does not. It doesn't work. Hey, Lightning Claw, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I just tried that. I tried to put like a D4 in there, and it does make a little mark where the thing is, but then it doesn't work. It's not.
Well, that's bullshit.
That's bullshit. I would like to know. All of a sudden, we're asked, do not use current targets for that chat window rules. Interesting.
Huh. So you can be selective?
No, it didn't give me a +4, Drake. The modifier was +4 from the damage, so that was already going to be there. Yeah, if I put that in there, it's telling me +0, +0, +0. I would like to know what that is for. Let's just try something here. Yeah, so it's saying +0 is what it's giving you when you drop a die in there. And if you right click on it, there's no option. Interesting. We're going to have to look into that.
Yep.
Because I do not know.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
I wonder if we could go to FG Discord right now and ask that question amongst the 2,000 people that are hanging out there and see if we can get an answer. But I don't know. What is the bullseye? Okay, the bullseye is, if you click it, it says use current targets for chat window roles. Do not use current targets for chat window roles. So there may be, I can't think of what one off the top of my head, but there may be a reason. Like, for example, I need to roll some dice in the chat window. Let me see how this works out. But I don't want it to affect people in the combat tracker. So let's just show an example of that. All right. The proper NPC has full hit points.
I love you, man.
Hey, Lightclaw, thanks for the sub. Thank you, sir or ma'am. Gender fluidity we have here. Cis, props, whatever it is. Welcome, thank you. So let's say that my guess is do not use current targets for chat window roles. Okay. So I am going to target. Wait, it's got to be my turn. Hold on, never mind. Let me pass the turn. Okay, so I'm this giant vulture. I'm going to target the proper NPC. I am now going to roll damage, and it shouldn't give him the damage. And it did not. Now, if I click this on and do the same thing, well, what do you know?
Cool.
That's how that works.
Does it work on the map at all, or is it just specifically the combat tracker?
Oh, I'm assuming it would still be work. Let's see. Well, here, hold on. Let me get the combat tracker up so we can tell.
Yeah.
So he's got no damage. So if I turn it off and roll damage on him. So it's only in the chat.
Okay.
And it should give him damage again if I do this. Yeah. So it's just in the chat. So that's interesting. I could see where that might be useful somewhere, especially if a DM says, hey, let me check the math on that, or let me roll something. So let me just turn this off so it doesn't affect anything and do it. I could see where that'd be useful. But I'm super curious. I want to say that dragging these dice in here like that should work. And it's not.
Dang.
So I don't know what the hell that is, and I've never used it. And we all need... I'm drunk. That's why I'm having hiccups, because I'm drunk right now. By the way, for those of you that watching the show, that's a huge joke. It's an inside joke, because I can't drink alcohol. I'm not allowed. Okay. It doesn't trigger the RNG. It just defaults to 0 value. Yeah, super weird. I don't know why that would be that way, but we're gonna have to look into that. But we're not gonna do it during the show because it's gonna probably take too long to find out. All right. Does
How
anyone?
many more do you have, Rob?
How many more?
About
What?
tips.
I was
I mean,
done.
we're not going to do them today, but
Oh,
that's
how many
all
more
of them.
are there? Let's see.
Roughly.
Roughly 30.
I'd like to continue this someday.
Maybe we can do. Yeah. Well, I mean, we could bump next week's show to the next week and do like
the
part
other half
2 of tonight. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. Those are really useful, actually. They're, something. A lot of those I don't even know about myself. So.
All right. Well, so we'll do the next. We'll do all the rest of them next week.
Perfect.
We'll call that part 2. Yeah. Easy. And okay, so did anybody else put any questions in there? That's for careful spell. Oh, Diablo Bob is saying that's for careful spell. What does that mean?
I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, I think he was talking about the little target thing for the modifier box, and they're still talking about the modifier box, which is
the modifier box is a crazy. Now. So wait a minute, wait. Okay, let's just try this. I'm gonna roll a D10, and then I'm gonna drag that down here, and it puts it in there. Oh, D6.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's a.
Stackable modifiers.
Yeah. Okay. So wait a minute. Wait. Okay, so let me make it a 0. Let me clear the window. Here, let me just roll this and get rid of all this crap. Okay. So if I roll a D6, a D8, and 2D4, and I say that's what I want added, I can just go like that. +4, +1 is 5, +7 is +12. And then it shows you have those 3 modifiers, bing, 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 3. Okay, that's what that's for.
Yep.
But I'm telling you what would be cool. What would be cool is if you could go, yeah, see, there they all are, +4, +1, +7. There you go. That's how that works. What would be cool is if you could go, hey, let's, whatever I roll plus a D6. That would be cool. But you can't do that. All right, very good. Well, we did answer that, though, then. That's great. Anything else? Oh, yeah, careful spell. You could target the excluded and then do not do's for the. Yeah, I see what's going on. Yeah, that's a rare thing, but that's cool. If you define them in the modifier window, you can name them and then just have the name show up. Oh, so modifier window. Oh, right. Okay, so what would you do? You would do D6. Yeah, I don't think I understand what he's saying.
Well, it'd probably pull the names instead of just giving you
right.
But
but how do you apply a die to this? You can't.
I don't know.
You can't. There's no such thing. Put a name in the text section and a number value. Can't be a dice. Oh, well, so then that. Yeah, okay. Well, that doesn't. I mean, that's just overkill. This is a whole nother thing. Opportunity cover, superior cover, critical max half. All right. Did we answer everyone's questions?
I think so.
Put a name of the text in the text section and number value.
Then apply the modifier.
Yeah,
the name.
Yeah, I see what he's saying. So instead of saying +4, +1, +7, it would say, whatever the reason is, and then I can't see myself even ever going to that much trouble. It would be kind of cool if you needed it, but I don't see myself using that.
Well, you could do careful spell or bardic inspiration, whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah, so just to show everybody what he's talking about, You go here, and you say, -2 cover.
Oh.
And then add that, and it's there. Oh, fuck. That is cool. Okay, so then I roll my d20.
You got to put the
and-
number in the number field.
Oh, the number. Oh, right, I forgot. Okay, so. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so you would just say cover.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, wait. So then, based on that theory, hold on.
Hold.
Oh, no, you just highlight it, but you can't drag it? No, you can't. Okay, so you just highlight it. Okay. So cover.
That's hard-coded.
Yeah, and it doesn't tell you it doesn't say it, right?
Yep.
Okay, so cover -2, it should be. -22, Jesus Christ. -2. All right, so now all I'm gonna do is click that. And it shows you that. -2, it's got, oh, and if you hover over that, it tells you the name. You see it? Cover?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is pretty cool. Okay, so then I go roll my die, and it gives me cover -2. Boom. That's how you do it. Okay, so I was very resistant to Matakuri there for a second, but now that's a cool. I can see how that would be super cool for shit.
Yep. Especially
Matter
if you
of
had a
fact,
whole bunch of stuff going on at once.
I see
That would be
much like a effects coding module that Rob Tui has done. I now see a modifiers module in my future. Fill that fucker up with whatever I can think of and whatever anybody else can think of too. Shit.
You could do a 1 through 6 bardic inspiration.
Here's the problem. I think we can't do that.
What's that?
Well, I don't think you can export modifiers, can you?
I don't know.
Oh, snap!
Yep.
Modifiers. Okay.
You're so fucking excited.
I'm so,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
2019. I've already got a thing going. All right. Okay, it's happening. It's happening. I'm going to do it tonight, right now. Yeah, so let's see. You would go
Celestian.
But see, bardic inspiration, you can't use.
It's not a dice roll. It's
not
the
a dice
result
roll. Yeah,
of it.
so
It's the result of it.
Right. So I mean, it would just be your see, like cover -2 wouldn't be something that would make sense to do because it's already here. You already have it.
Correct.
Bardic inspiration, you've rolled the dice already. So now what are you gonna do? You're gonna roll a d6.
Yep. You're gonna put the number 1 through 6 in your modifier and label it that.
Right, but by the time you've gone through doing all that, I've already fucking figured it out, and I've already adjusted the hit points and whatever. It's over. It's done.
Right, but if you made a module, you'd have it set up already.
No. But my point is, you still have to roll the d6.
Oh,
you still have to roll the bardic inspiration die. So my whole goal in life is to automate shit, not make extra work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So bardic inspiration wouldn't make sense to do because you'd have to roll the dice, then go here and find on the list which one. Okay, now I've already finished it. It's done. Right. By the time you go through all those steps, it's over.
Yeah, it's quicker to do it on the
yeah, it's just
track.
quicker, right? So I'm looking to do things that help people move along faster, not create 4 extra steps to be cool, right? Like it would be cool. So like so for those of you that are confused by me yelling at Larun, I'll show you what he's talking about. So bardic inspiration. I don't know how to spell it. Inspiration. All right, so let's just not confuse what's happening here. Okay, so I'll go to 8.
Yeah, in case.
Well, I think it goes up to 12. I think, depending on your level. Oh, fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't count. That's the problem. Okay. So what he's saying is if we were playing and a bard said, I'm going to give such and such bardic inspiration, and they were at a level where it was a D6, and somebody rolled an attack and said, okay, well, here, let's show it.
Roll it.
So let's say the giant vulture has bardic inspiration, and he rolls his attack. And oh Christ, that's gonna be a bad example. First of all, let's untarget, so there's no advantage. Okay, so let's try that again. So he rolls an attack, and good, that's a good example. And his attack is an 8, and he says, "Oh no, I want to use my bardic inspiration." So the DM says, okay, roll your bardic inspiration. Now see, with the Rob 2e coding, it's already been done. It's already been added. You roll once and it's done. It would have already happened. But let's just say people aren't rich and don't have money to buy my codes. So then the DM says, okay, roll your bardic inspiration dice. So he rolls it. Okay, it's a 6. So you take the bardic inspiration plus 6, you click that, and then you put that back in the chat. Nope, that doesn't work. I don't see how that. You would have to know that before the roll, because in order for it to affect the roll, the modifier has to be in the box before the roll. So this whole fucking nightmare that you've created for us right now, none of it works. But we learn when we do this kind of shit. So this is all a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. Now, is anybody in the chat watching this? There's like 30 people there watching. Am I right about that? Is that just a whole lot of nothing, or am I just missing something? That's what I want to know. Don't you add bardic inspiration before the roll? Yeah, see, they're telling me. So that doesn't work. Actually, bardic inspiration can be added after the roll, but in Fantasy Grounds, there's no way to do that. So really what happens here is I'll show you what happens with bardic inspiration. Let's just do a little Rob 2e plug here for a second. Let's go open up class codings. Yeah, right there. So let's just say that the giant vulture is a bard, and he has bardic inspiration. Got to get that modifier out of there. Yeah, if you knew before, it would work. It would put the +6, but there's no way to know there's no way to know what you got till after you roll, right? You're not going to use bardic inspiration before the roll. You're never going to do it. So let's just say that the giant vulture is a bard, and he has bardic inspiration, and he applies it to himself. So he just has that effect on there. Now, oh no, that's the wait, what? Oh, it's not. Okay, fuck. I'm fucking myself up here. So bardic inspiration isn't actually coded as a thing. Why not? Shouldn't it be? I've had people go round and round with this on me. You guys are both remaining silent because you're fucking. If I don't know what I'm talking about, how could you guys possibly know what I'm talking about?
Well, it's come up before.
Yeah, it comes up a lot, and I've bounced back and forth. I've waffled on this many times because people convince me like, oh, you should have that code in there, and then I'm like, well, but what about this? So it's just basically a note. You give it to the person, and then because they can't, when you award bardic inspiration to another player, if you were doing it to yourself, you could then code the extra like attack, save, or check plus d6 on your own character. But if you award it to another player, you have to. So see, I know how to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through this whole fucking example to show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's just do it. Watch this. I'll just make it.
Okay.
So let's just add it. I'll put what I had before, which is what I had originally, but then people were like, no, you can't do it that way. Okay, so. I don't even actually know if this works.
And our buddy Lord Havoc has a suggestion as well.
Okay, well, just calm down. Like one thing at a time here, because now I'm in like super brain mode to see if this even gets pulled off. Okay, so this is self and on next roll. So if I roll an attack, yeah, okay, it did it. So it does work. If I apply that, and it takes it away after the next roll. If I roll a check, it works and it takes it away. If I roll a save, it works. I'm sure it's going to work. Okay. Yeah, so that all works. The problem is Bardic Inspiration is usually one character giving it to another character.
Yeah.
Bards never give it to themselves. They always give it to somebody else. Mm-hmm. So the problem with that becomes like, okay, hey, example druid, I'm going to give you Bardic Inspiration. Mm-hmm. So the player goes, okay, I'm going to take Bardic Inspiration. Oh, I just take off self here. I'm going to take Bardic Inspiration, and I'm going to give it to the example druid. Should be fine, right? What's the problem with that?
Let me think here. So they don't get to choose.
Right. That's the problem. Is this will be applied to their next attack, save, or check no matter what. Mm-hmm. So that is not a good way to do it, which is why I nerfed that. And I did not even make that a thing. Because what that would mean is while you're playing, the player would have to say, okay, I'm going to use my Bardic Inspiration. Then this player would have to go apply that effect. And that is ideally not a good way to do it because you're counting on the bard to pay attention to your turn or to not have gone and got a cup of coffee while you're taking your turn. You know what I'm saying? Like I went around and around and around with it, and I just didn't like the way that was set up. So what I did was I made it so, but that just goes to show you if you do want to do it that way, you can absolutely do that. Let me see what I put in the let me see what I put for the explanation of that. Nope, not instructions, but notes. Bardic Inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
Bardic Inspiration uses a counter set within the title bar for Bardic Inspiration. Uses. Oh, right, that's just a counter for it. But yeah, there's no coding for it, and now we know the reason for it. You could do it, and I suppose I could recode that back in there to leave the option open for people, and maybe that's what I'll do. But it is absolutely not a good way to use it because it relies on the player who's not using it to be aware of when it's time to apply it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'll take people's votes. What do you two? What do you think of that? Should I mean, I guess I don't need to know that what you think because I can just put that back in there for people as an option. But and the other thing though is that I'll get emails from people. As soon as I do that, I'm going to get 15 emails a day saying, "Hey, why is it this way? And I think I just made it less of a headache for me personally to just take it out.
Yeah.
Because no one
All
has yet sent me an email saying, hey, why don't you just use attack D6, save D6, check D6?
Right.
Why don't you do that? Not even one person's ever said that to me. So I think I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah. Havoc said something about, what was this? Said roll the attack. They decided to roll a d6, add it to the modifier box, then drag attack to target again. It will apply the modifier. I don't know if that
Oh,
works.
okay. So let's find out. So I still have these in here. Okay. So this guy says, I'm going to attack. The giant vulture says, I'm going to attack.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell just happened? I'm going to attack the proper NPC. Okay, so he does. And he's like, oh, Christ, not this again. All right, never mind. Hold on. Clear. I love that clear button down there that I have.
Yeah.
Because it just keeps confusing out. All right, I'm going to attack example druid. So I do. I got a 15. You know what? Oh, well, fuck. I don't. I tend to not. I tend to do things, and then as I'm doing it, go, this is going to be more confusing to the audience than if I just never did it. So I have to restart and do things right. So we're looking for a miss.
Take prone off the NPC.
Oh, he's prone? No, he's not prone. He's. Oh yeah, he's prone. Okay, there we go. Let's try that again.
Yep.
So we're gonna attack him and hope we miss.
Yeah, it just blows up.
Yeah, I could put
A modifier.
God damn it. I could put manual dice roll and make it happen, but I just want to do it. Fucking motherfucker. Okay.
Of course it won't do it.
No,
you'll get a crit.
When you're in a live audience situation, what you want to fucking motherfucker. Okay, I'm not going to clear the chat anymore. I'm just going to go till it misses. Okay, so there's a miss. So I roll a 6 and I miss. Now I'm going to use my bardic inspiration. Okay, so he's saying roll the d6.
Yep.
It's a 1, so I add this modifier. And he's saying if I drag this over, it's going to give him 7 points of damage. And it did put 7, but it... Oh, it was an attack. All right, so it did work.
Cool.
Yeah, okay, good. That's good to know. Wow, that's nowhere in the fucking manual. I'll tell you that.
No, that's a lot of work, but yeah.
That's a lot of shit, but it's pretty cool. Who knew we were going to do an entire another show about the modifier box at the end?
This happens.
So let's go through that again. Did everybody get that? So again, really quick, these are the bardic inspiration numbers after you roll whatever the dice is. So I do an attack on this, and hit or miss, I decide I'm going to use my bardic inspiration. And my bard that gave it to me had enough to where I can use a d8, so I roll a d8. It is a 7. I will take the bardic inspiration number 7, add it to the modifier box, take my roll of 9 back over my attack. That should end up being a 16. And it is, and it's a hit. So there you go. That's how that works. That's pretty cool.
Diablo Bob says, I'm going to add that to my list.
Yeah, add that to your fucking list, because I don't want to do this shit.
I hear you.
I don't want to... Well, except guess who's going to end up doing the video for that is me. But at least now I know how it works. I know how it works now. Yeah. So, okay, good. So, very good. Oh, man, my throat. I got to not talk anymore. My throat hurts so bad.
And on that note, we should end the show.
We should.
Yeah.
Did we answer everyone's questions? I think people are just making comments, but... Okay. So...
Well, I mean, if they have more questions or ideas, they can always go over to our that ID Informer website.
That's right. Which
that
we'll put that. Yeah. Also, there was a question. Couldn't he have just couldn't he have
Just drag the
just
guide to the
drag
modifier
this?
box.
And the answer is yes, I could have, and it would have been the same result. The difference is everything's the same. GM, attack M, beak, attack M, beak. This one says only +7. This one says Bardic Inspiration +7 because of these words here. So that's the only difference.
And that way, your GM will know, why do you have that extra +7 onto your attack? This is why I'm using Bardic Inspiration.
Right.
Cool.
So if you wanted to be thorough with every single modifier you used, you would never just click here and punch a number. You would always come to this list and either use one or make one. This is why 2, and then add that to the modifier and roll the dice. Oh, what happened? I didn't do it. This is why. Okay. Yeah. So whereas if I just put a 2 in there with nothing else, it just does the +2, but it doesn't tell you anything. Oh, and I guess you would probably want to say, yeah, so if you don't, okay, that's another thing. Wow, there's so many fucking facets to this. Okay, so you see that this is why gives it a +2, but it doesn't say +2. It just gives it the +2. This one, where it's just the number 2 and has no explanation, actually puts +2 there. So what you would technically want to do to be as complete as you could is say this is why +2 and then do it. And see the difference? This is why nothing, but there's a +2. This is why +2, +2.
Right.
So, man, I mean, this just goes fucking deep down into the rabbit hole, everybody. But, I mean, it's so cool. I mean, that's what I've learned in the last 3 years of using Fantasy Grounds. I mean, I bought this program and dove into it knowing that I would never, ever know everything about it, and I still don't. And something like this comes up, something like what we discovered tonight and went through in the last half hour always makes me ask the question to myself, how many motherfucking dozens of other things do I not know? I want to know it all.
Diablo Bob is going there. He says, can you add the modifiers to a rollable table? Then pull the attacks to the combat tracker. Maddie says, nope.
Well, I'm glad he knows, because I was going to try that. But, yeah, a lot of times I see people using half and max. I don't see people using critical that much. The only reason is you can just hold shift and do the damage. That does the same thing. I see people use superior cover and cover, but I rarely see people use opportunity attack, but you can use it because it does recognize it as an opportunity attack. If you click opportunity and then make it attack, it'll say in the chat, it'll say opportunity attack. And if there's some code that an NPC has that says immune to opportunity attacks or some shit like that, it'll work. It'll say you can't do it. Oh wow, it's cough drop time. Holy shit, I think I destroyed my voice. What's today, Sunday? Okay, good. I don't need to talk tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, I think we should end the show. We will continue this. We'll go over more tips and answer more questions next week. But I think we're at a good stopping point, and I think we covered everything about the modifier box that we're going to talk about. So good. So let's go to the slides. Oh, slides. Let's do it. Slides. So, what is today? Sunday? Yeah. So Monday, tomorrow. Yeah, today's Sunday. I'm so not used to I don't know what day it is all the time. Plus, I've been sleeping from like 6 a.m. to noon and getting up, and my sleep's
Awesome.
all scheduled wrong, and it's snowing outside, and it's 6 degrees. I don't know what I'm doing. So next week we'll do episode 54, which will just be a continuation of the rest of the tips. Tomorrow I'll be here for Module Creation Monday. Last week I did a module beginning to end. I think I might do that tomorrow as well if I can. Wednesday's 5e pickup games. As of course, anyone can come by and chat with us and play. Friday is Dungeon of the Mad Mage, episode 9. Joe Numbers is facilitating that. Saturdays is Battle Royale. This will be number 3 on this Saturday the 16th. We have 2 people signed up. If you want to get in that, get in it. Send me a PM in Discord and let me know, and I'll tell you what you need to do. Any final words from either of the two of you?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a show without that getting your heart rate up there, Rob.
Yeah, I got my heart beating real fast. Yeah, you're welcome. Fury, any final words from you?
No. It was good to be back after a month break. First show of
Yes.
2019. I think it was pretty good.
I think it was excellent.
And
Good.
half
All right.
an hour longer than we thought.
Yeah, we were going to do 45 minutes and then BS a little bit. Maybe it's an hour. And no, instead it ended up being an hour and 35 minutes. But that's all right. We don't care. We just want to please the people. So good. So on behalf of my co-hosts, Miss Furied Fate and Mr. Leroon, I appreciate you guys dropping by this evening. Hope you learned something. Hope you had fun. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Join us again next week as well. Hope to see some of you here tomorrow night when I do the module creation. And until then, good gaming, everyone.